All right, so let's go ahead, get into the demo. So what I'll do is I'll quickly create yeah, I'll quickly create a storage account for the demo purpose, and then we will use an existing storage account that I already have, and I'll show you the demo where we'll use Azure Storage Explorer to perform the task that we have, and we will also use PowerShell to perform some of the queue and Azure table operations that we have. So let's go ahead and create one storage account. So you'll just click on plus, and I'll come under the storage. And here you should see storage account, blob, file, table, queue. So I click on that. And here you specify the name. Now the name that you specify over here, this name has to be lowercase and it has to be unique within this domain name. So let's give it a, so if I try to put in, uppercase, it will give me an error message because it says the file contains it should only be lowercase. So that thing you should keep in mind. Now let's say Cloud Easy Demo. So this is my storage account name. The deployment model. Let me see. Yeah. So deployment model. You have Resource Manager Classic. We are not covering Classic. Classic is the old portal, so you'll select Resource Manager. This is where you specify your account kind we talked about, right? So you have general purpose and blob storage. So depending on what you need, if you need to store files, blob and queue and VHD, you will select this general purpose. But in case if you want to store only the images and the unstructured blob data, you will select the blob. So let's select the general. The moment I select general, I have two options. I have performance tier standard and premium. So standard is HDD based, premium is SSD based. So depending on what I need, I can select that. Then you have replication. You can select GRS, LRS, G-redundant, and also let's select local redundant storage, or maybe we can say read access GRS so that I can show you the secondary URL. Then you have storage service encryption. This is what I was talking about. So if I say enabled, in that case, it will turn on the encryption at the storage level itself. So whenever I create any file, VHD, anything, I don't have to individually encrypt those using client-side encryption. So there are two kinds of encryption. You have storage service encryption or server-side encryption. And then you have client-side encryption. So you can also implement using your .NET code, wherein client will encrypt the data before it gets transmitted and stored into Blob. So that's also possible. Microsoft has an article, published an article on that. And then finally, you have secure transfer required. If you set it to enabled, non-HTTPS call will get rejected. So you can set that secure transfer required to enable. This is where you select your subscriptions. If you have multiple subscription, I have only one subscription. Then you can create a resource group. So I will create a Cloud Easy Demo resource group, and this will create a new resource group for you. If you already have, you can use existing one. And this is the location. So this is your basically the region that you want to select. So in my case, it's US South Central. This is Azure region. So let's review the settings once again. You specify the name in lowercase, deployment model resource manager, account kind, general purpose or blob. So I'll select it general purpose, performance tier, standard or premium. If you select premium, then you only get option of LRS. That's what I told you, that you don't have any other option but LRS in premium. Microsoft is not offering GRS. So if you say standard, then you only get all the options. So it's RA, GRS, read access, GRS that you have. And then you have storage service encryption, you have secure transfer required, and yep. So let's go ahead, and we didn't see hot and cool blob because we have selected general purpose. We'll create another one wherein we'll create it with the blob storage type. The moment you select that, in fact, if I select that, you will get that option cool and hot. So this is where you have access to cool and hot. So depending on blob. So if you select blob storage, you will get cool and hot. So let's keep it there, and we'll go ahead and create one. So it will provision this. It should take less than 30 seconds to provision this. And I should have something ready. So this deployment is in progress. By that time, let's come into the storage account that we have. If I click storage account, You can see all my storage account over here, and I should have the one that's getting created. Yep, succeeded. So let's refresh it, and this is my Cloud Easy demo. Now if you come here, you can look at the properties. We will examine the properties one by one and look at the settings that I talked about. So as I said, it is a general purpose. So under general purpose, you have block, you have blob storage, you have file storage, you have table storage, you have queue storage. All these you can manipulate, and if you go into one individually, so if you look at the options that I have, this is a standard performance. Replication is read access geo redundant. So if I go in blob and look at the property of blob here, I can see I have my primary URL, so cloudeasydemo.blob.co.windows.net, right? And then I have secondary one. Secondary one is cloudeasydemo.secondary.blob.co.windows.net. Replication status live, and last synchronizes. This is the time that it's showing me. So since I have selected GRS RA, I can see that I have primary is also available, secondary is also available. And location, if you look at South Central US has a paired region called North Central, and somebody asked this, how do we decide that? So Microsoft has a published list called Azure paired region, so you can do that. And so this is your primary and this is secondary. Now since I've created a blob, you cannot upload anything in here, so you have to create a container first. So you can create a container, so I can say file container. Sorry, again it has to be small, and here you will specify what kind of access type you have. If you specify private, nobody can access it except who has a storage access key and signature. And if you select to blob or container, so then it will become public and people will have access to blob. If you specify container, people will have access to the container level. So I'll just keep it private at this point of time, and I say okay. So this is my container ready, and if I come here now, I can upload any file if I wish to here. So let's go ahead and upload it, and you can do all these settings from the GUI. And if you need much advanced control, you will use Azure storage. Now, so what I will do is Azure Storage Explorer. So this is the tool that you will need to download. It's called Microsoft Azure Storage Explorer, and from there you can manipulate all these settings. And from where do you get to download it? Microsoft has published it, storageexplorer.com. You go there, and from there you can download it and store it locally. So in my case, I've already stored it. So when you install it first time, it will ask you, you have to specify. You will get this dialog box, and you have to specify how do you want to access. Do you have a shared access signature? You have storage account name and key, depending on how you want to manipulate it, or you want to add an Azure account. If you select that, it will list all the storage account that you have created under your user ID and password. So let's go ahead and sign in. In my case, assuming that you have installed and this is the first time we are running, it will ask me to sign in. So I will use my credentials, my Azure credentials. So once I sign in, it will show me all my storage accounts. Okay, so let me remove my old one. I say apply, and now I can see that I have 3 subscriptions, Cloud Easy and this, so we'll stick to Cloud Easy. And you can see I have this storage account that we have. The one that we have created is Cloud Easy demo, right? So let's look at it closely. So if I go in Cloud Easy demo and expand it, I have blob, file share, queues, table. So I will come under the file, and if I try to come into this is my container inside the blob. I don't have anything, and from here I can upload a folder or a file. So I will upload a file, and this is where I was talking about. So you can select different kind of block blob, page blob, append blob. So depending on what's your data that you want trying to upload into your blob storage. And by default, this is the option: upload VHD, VHDX as page blob. As I said, VHD files or the virtual hard disk, if you're really uploading it, it should be in the page blob. In fact, this is one of the questions Microsoft has asked in my exam when I was taking my 533, they said that user has mistakenly uploaded VHD as a blob. What is the option? So you have to delete it and re-upload it as a page blob. Then only you can make use of that VHD. So let's go ahead and select a file, and I will upload, it's this file, and I say upload. Now once it is uploaded, right now nobody can access it. If I copy the URL and paste it to in the chat window for you guys, you won't be able to access it. The reason is the permission that I have set is only private. So I have to go and either I can get the shared access signature, or I can also set my properties that I wish to for the people. So let's go to the properties. And this is where you will see the properties of all the metadata that we have. But I want to add the permission, so I will come here and I'd say set public access level. And here I can specify. Right now it's set to no public access, but if I say public read access for container and blob, so that will give you access to the read permission, and you can enumerate any further files under that container, or I can also grant you only for the blob. So I will give you read access for container blob, and if you try to access now, you should be able to see that. Anybody should be able to see that. So let's look at this. Here you go. So right now I can see it, right? Because I set the permission. So if I revoke the permission, you won't be able, or probably people have tried, they won't have been able to see it. So let's do it. Let me revoke this, and I go into public access level, and I set it to no public access level, and I say apply, and if I try to access now, it should error out. So you can see, right? So it says resource not found. This specifier doesn't exist because I haven't set the permissions. So if I come back and reset the permission for you, that is public access level, and I say public access read access for containers and blob, and I say apply, then I should be able to access this once more. Now you can see it. So you can look at the URL that which is, there is a Cloud Easy demo, that's your storage account name. Then this, since it is a blob, so it's blob core windows.net. So this is the common section, core.windows.net. That's the common that we have. And then you have what kind of blob file, and I'll show you. We also will create a file, we'll create a queue and all those, and you will see those URLs there. So let's come back to the portal, and in fact here also Microsoft gives you open in Explorer. If you click on that, if you have Microsoft Storage Explorer installed, you can we use our custom domain name? Yes, you can do it. You just need to, it will work at the DNS level. Your DNS, you'll go and create a CNAME record, that will work, but there will be certain functionality which may not work. But yes, it is possible. You can assign your custom domain name for sure.
If I want to give the permission for the users in my domain, like specific storage use,
you cannot. It's only right now the permission is controlled through access key. If only whoever has access key, they can access it. So you have key that they can use. Their account name, username will be Cloud Easy Demo, and password will be key. Or you can also grant shared access signature. This is where you will determine. So somebody asked this question. This is by default for 1 year. I don't know if it is for 1 year, but you can specify your start time and end date. And today that's not possible, Ranjit, to answer your question. You can't grant permission at user level. Microsoft is working to integrate it with Azure AD. So once they integrate it with Azure AD, then you will be able to apply the permission for the user accounts in Azure AD.
Okay.
So right now today the access, the role-based access or access to data is controlled via access key. This is, you have a primary key. These are the default keys that you have. And the second is shared access signature. So both these options you can set with these two. It can do from there. But the end user integration with Azure AD is coming. All right, so let's look at now. What we'll do is we have looked at the demo for the blob. We looked at the storage access key. We looked at the shared access signature. If you come into the properties, just quickly, whatever we have done, it will list those properties over here. So you have, this is a primary blob service endpoint. This is mod. This is your file So if you look at it, the file one, it's Cloud Easy Demo .file.core.windows.net. Similarly for Blob, it's Blob. For Q, it's Q, cloudeasydemo.q.core.windows.net, and then table. And quickly, I can show you that the name resolution and the public IP of this IP address. If I do ns lookup and I say cloudeasydemo.core.windows.net. So you can see this is the public IP that I have, which is assigned to it. And if you look at it very closely, this is the VIP of your storage stamp. Mainly, this IP, what you see is Microsoft has a VIP virtual IP, which is in the background. There are many servers sitting in one storage stamp. So one storage stamp consists of multiple storage servers, and that server is what serving your request. So this is behind the VIP. And this is what I was telling. If you look at, I have another one. If I look at, so I have Cloud Easy 1. And if I look at the IP, it's a different IP, which is 100. That means I'm on different storage stamp. If I look at Cloud Easy 2, Cloud Easy 2 is on 88, which is again another one, a different one. Let's look at the Cloud Easy 3. So this is also a different IP addresses that you get. So basically, you can also ensure. So even if you don't have a managed disk, but in case you want to make sure that your disk of one availability set is not stored as a part of one storage stamp, you can script it in a way that it checks for the IP, and if IP are same, it will recreate a storage account, so that your storage account is spread across multiple stamps, storage stamps. So let's come back here. So let's look at some of the operations that we can perform on the file. So I will create a file first. Let's look at this file. I'll create a file share. Let's create a file share. This will also be Cloud Easy Demo. And you can specify the quota, how much quota you want to specify, 10 GB, 100 GB, so the user won't be able to put more than that. So I can specify 10 GB. This is successfully created, and if I go here, it will give you an option, and if you want to upload any file from here, you can do that. And if you click on connect, this will give you the the command to basically map your drive. Now let's look at closely. So if I copy it and I pasted it here and exit, and okay, so if I paste the command, if you look at sorry, it got pasted twice. If you look at closely, what the command is, it's a net use command from Microsoft, which is a command line tool for mapping a drive. You can specify net use, and you can specify your drive. So it could be, let's say, J drive, and then you specify your UNC path, right? Universal Naming Convention path. So this is my Cloud Easy Demo.file. File is my file. core.windows.net / Cloud Easy Demo is my share name that I've created. If you look at the username is -u, and then Azure is Azure name. That's a domain, you can say. And then Cloud Easy Demo is the storage account name, is what's your username, and this is your storage key that you give to map the drive. Now, if I try to do that, it should fail. In my case, why it would fail? Because my ISP is blocking port number 445, and I can confirm you that. So let's come to port query. So eventually it will fail. So let's wait. You can see system error 53 found, right? So let's do this. I will take this guy. This is my public domain, right? And if I come here and I specify this, cloudezydemo.file.co.windows.net. Let me see if I have my port 445 open. And if I do a query, I will see that this is a port query tool from Microsoft. You can download this free tool. And if I do a query, it will show that the 445 port is filtered, which is the SMB port. While it is running, let me do this quickly. Let me start a VM in Windows, which is a Windows 10 VM in Azure, and we will try the same command from Azure. So, and if I come here, let's look at this report. So what it says querying and it says filtered, right? Because my ISP has blocked 445 port. So if that's the case, you have to make sure that a 445 is open. Otherwise, this is not going to work. Now I fired up a VM in Azure where Microsoft doesn't block 445. I should be able to connect to that. So let's come here, and where is my RDP file? And let's fire this up, guy. So while it is access, there is a question: how to access managed storage disk, or where does managed disk stored? You will not have access to managed disk because it's like it's a VHD level. So I don't know whether you will be able to access it, but yeah, you can download it. You can take a snapshot. So let's see if my VM got started. Oops. Let's look at the VM. Win10 client. What is the status? Yep, it says running, so I should be able to connect. No. Yeah, so let me put in the password. So hopefully this will let me now. I will mount those drives from this VM. So this is where I log into my Windows 10 VM, which is hosted in Azure, and I'll show you the ports. Ports are open there. It's not blocked, unlike my local laptop. And if I come here, let's go to the C drive, and I say port query. Let's run it, and I specify my port. I specify 445, and I say query. You can say that it's listening. It's listening, so that means the port is not filtered. Right. So now quickly, let's map a drive. CMD, and I will copy the URL from there. So where is my storage account? And let me reduce it. So Cloud Easy Demo. And under this I have files and Cloud Easy Demo, and I say connect, and I copy this. So let's come back to the VM, and I paste it. It gets pasted twice. I don't know, somehow it gets pasted twice. Okay, so let's put in a drive letter here. I will put in J drive. So this will map J drive for my file storage, and using the username. This is the Cloud Easy Demo, which is the storage account name, and then the password is your storage key. So this says command completed successfully, whereas in my case laptop, it failed. So let's come to the Windows Explorer and let's refresh it. So you can see I have Cloud Easy demo this here, and I can create a new folder, test, and within that, if I want to, let's say if I have any document, I can, no document. Okay, so let's say in Visual Studio I have, or maybe, and I can copy some file from here. Let's copy this, and I come to here, test, and then paste it. So now I have mounted this tab. This is mounted as an SMB share, and then I've copied and pasted it. So let's look at if we got those file in the portal. So let's look at refresh, and if I say refresh, you can see I have test folder, and if I click on that, I have this file. So this is how you manipulate. So we have manipulated blob storage, we manipulated file. Let's try to manipulate queue and a table. So right now I will come here, and I already have set up Cloud Easy one. That's where I have my queues. I have Cloud Easy queue, and then I have a table, which is
It is.
yeah, Cloud Easy. Yep.
What kind of file partition handling by file share?
Pardon? File share?
Yeah. There is any specific partition is handling for file
Yeah,
share?
yeah. You want to see
What kind
that
of
part?
partition is it?
Sorry, I unable to get it.
No, the file share handling partition, Windows partition.
Yeah.
What kind of partition is handling by file share?
Oh, when you say partition, it's are you referring to NTFS or FAT or like that? It's a NAS. It's basically SMB access that you have.
Yes.
It's it's based on SMB 3.0. It's a network attached storage, you can say. It's SMB, it's a file share.
So you can mount this file share to any of the hypervisor?
Yes, if you want to, you can do that. You can do it from any, you can do from physical box, you can do a VM, you can do it from your laptop, from anywhere, which has internet access, you can mount it.
But you have to mention about the NFS path, right? So NFS folder. So
yes. So this is the path, right? So let's look at this. Here is the path.
But it's not mentioned as NFS. The NFS are congestion.
Yeah, so this is for Windows, this is for Linux. So if you have Linux machine, you can use this command. So both options, and this is the file. Okay. So let's look at, we'll do some manipulation on my storage account for table. So let's begin with tables. I already have it. So what I'll do is I will delete it.
SQL, right? MS SQL not support table storage?
No, this is different, right? This table shouldn't be confused with the SQL table. This table is no SQL, and Microsoft has given
I got it. So you said, right, document DB and Cosmos DB will support it. It's, okay.
Yeah.
So my question is, right, so will MS SQL will support table storage?
No.
No. Okay.
Because table is, well, I'll show you that we don't have any schema, and SQL enforces a schema. So,
okay, this is a non-relational database, right?
Correct. It's a non-relational. So let's look at this closely. This script, with that I will manipulate, table, and then I will also manipulate queue, and I'll show you that demo. So what I'm doing is, let's look at one by one. Probably that would. So first, I'm adding my Azure subscription. I'll log in into my Azure subscription account here, which is here, and then I select my subscription using select Azure subscription. I've installed two modules, so probably you can also, this is because by default it's not inbuilt, so I have installed a PowerShell module for storage table, and then I have for storage queue. These two modules I have to install. I've already installed it, so I will not run that command. And then once it is installed, you have to import those modules using import module command. and that will load those module in PowerShell, and then from there you can use the commandlets inside those PowerShell module. Here I have my all the details which I need, like my subscription name, source group name, storage account name, table name that I want to manipulate, and queue name. This is where it gets thing really interesting. So partition key. So when you store anything in the table, you have partition key, you have row key. So you can visualize as a format of table, right? So any table that you have in your vault, so you will have a column, and then you will have a row, right? So this is your row, and this is your column. So what in case of table, this is called your partition key, and this is called a row key. So whenever you need to access any data, either you can retrieve the entire partition key, or you can depending on row key that you want to retrieve it, you can do that. So all those kind of operations are available. So whenever you go ahead and uh, store any data, you have to specify which partition key it should go on and which row key it should go on. So both the options you will have to give when you're storing any data in the storage key in table, sorry. And in case, so that's what I'm specifying. So I have one US partition that I've created. The name I've given is US computer. This Azure, this command, this will get me a storage context to perform any kind of operations. So basically, I need proper credentials. So instead of, you can just think about this as more of I'm using storage key instead of storage key. Since I'm logged in with that account has permission. Using this command, I'm able to get that information here, and whenever I perform any task, I will use that storage context here. This command over here will get a reference for the table, and then finally this is where I add my entries into my table. So you have add storage table row, we'll add it. We specify partition key. I have my partition key defined use computers. I have my row keys 1, 2, 3 depending on, and then you specify the property. Property is where that's where schema goes for a task. You don't have any schema right now. I have my table. You can literally say this is my field and this is my value. This is my field. This is my value. This is field. This is my value. Now I can have another one wherein I can have entirely different schema altogether. So that's why it is key value pair. So you have partition key, you have row key. So let's quickly run this command. So I will just let's first do this. So log in. And it should let me log in. Okay, so this is done. This selected my subscription. I will not install it. This is already installed. So I'll just import my modules. These two modules got imported. Let's run the rest of the commands. So subscription name, I'll run one by one. So for you, it's easier. All these variables. So I've set these variables, all these variables that I have. Now I will go ahead and get the context of my storage account. This will store it in SA context. This is where my table operation will get started. So I will say table. Let me get the table first using my storage account context that I've created. So this got me a reference for table. So if I look at table, you will see that I have this is cloud.ed table. This is the URI cloud.ez1.table.co.windowsmicrosoft.com, and this is the context that I have used. Let's add the 3 keys. So I will select all these 3 mainly, and I will execute it. So this will add 3 rows for me. And if I want to see all, I can see from the GUI also, but here also you have command. You can say get Azure storage table row all and table FT. So if I do that, it got me this. So what all I have, if I look at it, I had patching. So you see patching. I had OS version, VM name, partition keys use computers, row keys 1, 2, 3, and this is the timestamp. Now I will show you why it is different. Let's create another one, and this time I will say partition key 1, and I'll say US address, US office. Now the same table will have different schema altogether, and that's why it is, it doesn't follow any schema at all. So let's go ahead and copy it, and I will say add storage, and this time partition key 1. This will go 4. So this is my partition key, this is my row key, and property here it will go, so country address, so this will be US. Then this will be state, this will be NJ, then this will be city, this will be Addison, and then if I want, okay, so let's leave it there. Now if I execute this, but before that I will need this guy, and I will need storage context once again, and I will need this once again. Now let's add this guy, the fourth one. So you can see it added. Now this schema is entirely different than what we had earlier. Now let's try to get the data. So you can see that, right? So I have this US Office and the row keys for, obviously this all information didn't get it. Now I have to get only the information about US Office, but I can see. So you can store all this information, without having to really worry about your schema of each property that you have. So that's why it is called, NoSQL. It doesn't follow the relational schema. And if I say by partition key, I can get the partition key. So let's look at this. So this got me for US computers, and if I change it to partition key 1, it will get me for address. So you can see my address is state, NJ, Addison, USO. If you want to get it by the column name, you can also get it by the column name. So country, if you want, or city. So let's look at the column name. I get Azure Storage Table row column name by VM name. If I do that, it will get me, VM01 detail. So which has a VM01. So these are some of the operations that you can. Let's look at whatever we have done. It should show up here. You can look. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, and you can see that now it has state and city and country. Now this is only for US Office partition key, not for US computers. And this is what you cannot achieve in SQL. In SQL, if you have a table, all have to have the same column. You can't have a different. So, but in case of table, it's entirely different, altogether different. So you have partition key and you have row key. This is what is your a unique key. So in case of SQL, you will have primary key, right? Primary key is always unique. So your primary key for table is partition key and row key, and that's what you will use to retrieve. Either you can retrieve all data from one partition key, or based on row key, or based on value. There are a lot of manipulation that you can do, but it's all the table manipulation is done through program. But I try to demonstrate to you through the PowerShell, but that's not that's only for demonstration. But usually you will be a programmer and you will be doing it. So let's do this. Let's do this for the queue also. So I will go ahead and run this. This again, this will get me the context for my queue. And if I do, add Azure RM storage queue message, it will add these two messages that I have. One is file location, one is processing message. So let's go ahead and run this. So add Azure RM storage account queue message, and let's come here and let's look at the queue. So this was my table. Where is my queue? Yeah. So if I come here, I can see all this message. So let me clear all the queues so that you can see it once again. So let me go back here and run this once again. Now I should see these two messages. So you have these two messages that I have added. One is this is my file location. This is what I am sending it to that, and the person whoever is they can. The application can read it and dequeue it. And then I have the second message. It's again, it's a different, it's based on the message format that you specify. So all this is here, and you can dequeue it, which means you have consumed it. You can delete it. You can add a message from here also. But obviously you will not do all this from this GUI or through PowerShell maybe you can do it, but you will be using your .NET application, .NET program. So that's what was, but let me quickly show you some of the settings that we talked about. You can also change your settings if you really want to. So for example, once you have configured your replication, you can change your replication topology or the replication scope that you have. And you remember when you have RA, GRS and GRS and LRS, you cannot go to GRS. GRS is only for the blobs, not for the VMs, and this is general purpose. So if you have a blob, then only you can select zone redundant storage. So all these options you can select. You can disable the transfer. Yeah, these are the things that I wanted to show. Any questions?
Yes, this is Chandra here.
Yes,
I'm not able to use the Azure Storage Manager, the Storage Explorer. I'm getting some spawn unknown error. Does it ring a bell?
No, I mean I didn't get any problem. What operating system are you on?
Windows 7.
Try on Windows 8 or 10.
Okay, thanks.
Alrighty. Any closing questions? I know
No, Neeraj.
I'm 40 minutes over the time, but thank you guys for holding back for so long. I hope you had a wonderful session and you got benefits out of it. So,
Yes.
Would you be sharing the PPT or the presentation?
yeah, I will upload that into my GitHub. In fact, I have not done it for other sessions also, so I'm combining it all together and then I will upload it to the session to the GitHub.
This is my first session. If you could share the link to the other sessions, that would be extremely useful.
Yeah, so I mean, all my sessions are published on LinkedIn. Now I moved away from LinkedIn, but let's see. But you will find all my sessions over here. This is the link. I can paste it for you.
Even in YouTube, we can able to see, right?
Thank you.
Yeah, on YouTube also. But then YouTube is only video. Here you get all, because I use a lot of links. Those links you will not be able to see in the YouTube. So, for example, these sessions I have utilized multiple, links. Like for example, Storage Explorer and all this. So I will also paste those links which people can refer. So it's always good to refer those articles, and that's why I also published the article where I put in all those, like this PowerShell command. I will publish those PowerShell command also in those links. Okay, so thank you once again for joining, everybody. It was nice talking to you guys, and I hope you found this useful, and we'll have more audience in coming sessions. So thank you. Thanks once again. Have a good day.
Thank you.